It's not going to be easy. I still think about him every day and continually wonder why Buddy.
In my mind, he was just a legend.
He'd come in at halftime and he'd be hurting, you know, but he was strong, and he went back out and did it, you know, did his job.
A staple in the community of Kansas City suburb Lee's Summit, Buddy Spurck was well known as a home builder by trade, a trade that would allow him to enjoy his life surrounded by family and friends. And as is the case with many large families in the area, the Chiefs have always been the focal point in the lives of the Spurcks. Unlike most families, though, the Spurcks have etched themselves into the history of this football franchise, because since the days of Old Municipal Stadium, Buddy and his family have spent their Sundays in the best seat in the house, as the Chain Gang.
The Chain Gang is a group of guys that hold the 1st and 10 markers. We wear the black and yellow bumblebee pullovers. We handle the balls. We assist the referees, the officials, whatever they need. Instant replay, we got to know where, if we got to move it back, where it is to be. Officials keep track of that stuff, but we help them.
One thing you learn right off the bat is you got to protect yourself at all times.
I'm on the yard to gain on the official side, and I always had a pole and a man standing there that I could push in front of me to keep me out of getting arm's way.
I see my uncles get hit and fly like helicopters and land on the ground, so they don't care about themselves as much as I do, I guess.
Buddy's job was at the end of the quarter, he would shoot the gun off. That means the quarter was over. Well, they'd start counting it down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, one night we were playing the Buffalo Bills, and Marv Levy was the Bills coach, and Buddy's standing right behind Coach Levy. And all of a sudden, Buddy sticks the gun up at the end of the quarter and shoots it about a foot from Coach Levy's ear. Art Still, one of the ambassadors, Chiefs Hall of Famer, he made the comment about one of his fondest memories of Arrowhead was after the games going and having some beverages with the chain crew.
We used to stay out there until the sweepers came out to start sweeping up the parking lot and all. It was a situation where, you know, nowadays, you know, you don't see those types of relationships where, you know, not only on the field, but then you take it off the field. And it was always wholesome and all. You know, after the game, you sit around, you chit and chat. If you won the game, you have a great time. If you lost the game, you still had a great time. And that's, you know, those types of bonds you don't see no more.
Buddy was very goosey, very jumpy. And every single time that they shot off the booms at the national anthem, he would jump. It don't matter. I would stand right beside him and I'd say, Buddy, here it comes. And he would still do it. So one time he was standing beside this big old lineman, boom went off and Buddy jumped. And this big old football player looked down at him and said, whose wife are you running around with? I mean, it was a joke, but that's just Buddy. And he was always, that's Buddy. He's just goosey, and he just loved life.
Thank goodness these cameras weren't at our house on Sundays during away games back in the 70s and 80s, because there'd been a whole lot of bleeping going on. He was a very passionate Chiefs fan. I mean, getting off the couch, throwing pillows, screaming, kids running from the rooms, not knowing what was going on, you know. As the years got on, he got more mature. He settled down a little bit, but I always loved the Chiefs. Always loved talking about the Chiefs. Very interested in off-season acquisitions and the draft, and just he was just a Chief. You know, we're from Kansas City, and we're a proud family. Okay, and we were proud of the Chiefs. We'll always be proud of the Chiefs, and all of us have pretty much inherited that trait. We love the Chiefs.
Off the field, he was a leader because my wife worked for him, and he led my wife a long time. 17 years he worked for her. And on the field, it was not fun to come to the game unless Buddy was here. He drove the last few years, and we all enjoyed talking about the game coming up here. He was always a delight to be around, and he could hold your attention very easily.
Buddy was the type of person that didn't forget anything. He's one of those guys that, you know, if something happened in a particular year, if he wasn't there, you get on the phone and call him because he's the one that knew. And matter of fact, Danny and I and Buddy have played golf every Wednesday for about the last 20 years together. And Danny and I were out there this Wednesday, and we were trying to figure out when Stram retired. And Danny said, well, the guy that knows that's gone.
The thing about Buddy was that, you know, if you were down, he'd bring you up. He was always positive. Most positive guy I've ever known. And, you know, we just had so many good times together out here at Arrowhead and as a family.
One of the main things that I always remember about Buddy, and always will, and even when I was around him, is his laugh. I mean, he had this laugh that you can notice, you remember. It was a lot like my grandmother's laugh. It's kind of a cackle. And it was, in a word, infectious. You didn't even have to know why he was laughing. You either laughed with him or you smiled, but he'd laugh about things, and I still sometimes to this day don't know why he's laughing. He'd keep it to himself, but I just will never, ever forget this, that he always wanted to know why he was laughing, because he was laughing all the time, and he was so much fun. And I know I'll never forget his laugh.
The bonds that hold this gang together are unparalleled in today's NFL. In a 21st century league that sees more player trades, coaching changes, and regime transformations than one could count, the Chiefs chain gang is an enigma. A crew of family and friends, the likes of whom have worked for the team for the better part of 4 decades, has proven that the crew that sticks together and gets the job done can endure all. It's these lifelong bonds that made the news of Buddy's declining health that much harder for the chain gang to swallow.
In fact, Buddy fell off a ladder on a house that he was working, and he went to get his ribs x-rayed, and when he got his ribs x-rayed, they were fine. But the doctor said he needed to talk to him about something else, and that was the first time that I was aware that there was an issue, and it was hard. It was hard to hear that.
On September 7th, 2011, Buddy Spurck, the unofficial leader of the Chiefs chain gang, passed away from cancer. News of his passing resonated through the Lee's Summit community, and those who were closest to him, his family, and those who shared countless memories with him on the chain gang, now look to honor his legacy.
Well, this Sunday will be my first game working where my dad's not here. And, you know, I'm going to go out there and do the job that he would expect me to do. Also, it's, you know, I can't lie, I'm going to be thinking about him an awful lot. And I miss him every day. I hurt for my mother. And I think just getting back into a routine, being around my family, and doing the best job that I can do out here for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think that's what I got to do. And so, you know, like my cousin Kurt said earlier, he'll never be forgotten.
He was a lifelong friend, and we're going to miss him.